We will start, though, with the breaking news because Chelsea will appoint a new head coach by the end of next week. Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solikol, joins me now. So, Kaveh, managerial merry-go-round. You're going to be busy this summer. Who is on the shortlist for this Chelsea job?
Well, look, I think the leading candidates at the moment in alphabetical order are Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager, also Enzo Maresca, the Leicester City manager, and Kieran McKenna, the Ipswich Town manager. Now, the reason Chelsea are going for those three men is because they believe that all three of them have the attributes that they are looking for. Let's start off, for instance, with McKenna. Why do they like McKenna? Simply because of the fact he's done such a great job at Ipswich, and also because he's got a lot of experience as a coach in the Premier League, working at Manchester United under managers like Jose Mourinho and also at Tottenham as well. Now, Thomas Frank, a lot of senior people at Chelsea have been very impressed with the job that he has done at Brentford, brought them into the Premier League, has established them as a Premier League side on a smaller budget than a lot of his rivals. And also his personality, the way he carries himself, the fact that he's such a good communicator, and he's more adaptable when it comes to style of play. He's not as dogmatic as somebody like Enzo Maresca. Now, the reason they like Enzo Maresca is his style of play. He's somebody who worked under Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and it was mentioned to me that Mikel Arteta didn't have any managerial experience before he went to Arsenal, but he also had worked under Pep Guardiola. And with Maresca, you know what style of football you're going to get. You're going to get possession-based football the whole time. Now, it's not just those three names who are in the frame, because I've been told today that there is a high-profile mystery name that Chelsea are interested in as well. Obviously, I've been trying to do my best to find out who this mystery name is. I have not made much progress so far, but I do also know that Chelsea have been interested in a few other names as well. It's not a massive pool, but the other names that they've been interested in include people like Sebastian Hoeneß, the Stuttgart manager, and also Roberto De Zerbi, who has just left Brighton. Now, I think he has a lot of the attributes that Chelsea would be looking for as well, the way he develops young players, the style of play, but there are a few question marks over the way he left Brighton, but he is available now, and I think his compensation package due to Brighton, I think, is a lot less than it would have been if he was still the Brighton manager.
If Thomas Frank is one of, if not the leading candidates for the job at Stamford Bridge, would that not surprise you and many others, Kaveh, given the fact that he spent 6 years at Brentford? He's sort of a longer-term manager with someone with a look towards the future. That's not necessarily what Todd Boehly's all about.
I think what Chelsea want is somebody who is happy being a head coach and is happy working in the structure that they have set up. So it's a modern football structure. They're not interested in somebody who wants to wield power and be an old school manager. You have to be someone who's comfortable working with all the different departments that there are in a modern football club. And the Chelsea owners feel that they have built that structure, and the new head coach will be the final piece of the jigsaw. And they believe that the structure they've built and the people they've brought in will be at Chelsea, hopefully, for a decade. Now, all they need is a head coach to coach the first team. They don't want somebody who is an old school manager who is going to want control of everything. And that is why people like Thomas Frank and also Enzo Maresca and Kieran McKenna have the attributes that they're looking for. There are not that many big name managers available at the moment. But what more could somebody like McKenna do to prove that he has what it takes to become the Chelsea manager? Or what more could Thomas Frank do? You just have to watch the way Brentford play and the results that they've frequently got against the so-called big teams like Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City and Chelsea as well. One other thing I will say that I think is significant is the new head coach will get a long-term contract. Mauricio Pochettino, when he got the job last summer, he only got a 2-year contract plus the option of 12 months. I think this time round, the head coach will get a longer contract than 2 years. although I'm not sure if it will be as long as the 5-year contract that Graham Potter got. So it will be somewhere, I think, between 2 and 5 years. And I know the Chelsea owners sometimes get criticised for the fact that, they've had a lot of managers and they haven't got it right so far. But on the other side, you have to say, if you go back 12 months, last summer when they were looking for a new head coach, their final shortlist was Mauricio Pochettino, Arne Slot, and also Vincent Kompany. Now, Vincent Kompany is back to become the Bayern Munich manager. Arne Slot is the Liverpool manager. Mauricio Pochettino, apparently he's got a good chance of becoming the next Manchester United manager or even the England manager. So the names they have on the shortlist are the right names. It's just this time round they have to make sure they pick the right head coach, and we expect them to do that by the end of next week.
I want to ask you about the transfer policy very quickly, but before that, Mauricio Pochettino, any more details on how that came to a head?
I think, look, it was amicable. It just didn't work out. I think the Chelsea owners feel like they need somebody who fits into the structure that they have built at the club more and is happy working in that structure. And the bottom line is that finishing 6th is not good enough for the Chelsea owners. They don't want to be just top 4. They want to be regularly in the Champions League semi-finals. They want to be regularly competing to win the Premier League title again. So, being 6th, just not good enough. So I think there were problems on the pitch with the results and also off the pitch. I'm not sure if Mauricio Pochettino really bought into what the Chelsea owners are trying to do at Stamford Bridge.
And Carvey, are you getting an indication of how the transfer strategy will work from a Chelsea point of view this summer?
Well, I think Chelsea will be quite busy. I don't think they're going to spend the money that they've spent, for instance, last summer or the window before that. But I'm expecting there to be quite a lot of goings and comings. I think a lot of players will be leaving. I think quite a few players will be coming in as well. I think Chelsea will sign a new number 9. I think Chelsea will sign a centre-back as well. I think the futures of high earners like Romelu Lukaku, Kepa need to be sorted out as well. And of course, there is this whole issue to do with PSR. People have been saying Chelsea need to sell homegrown players before June the 30th to comply with the Premier League's financial rules. Could that mean Conor Gallagher is leaving? Could it mean Reece James is leaving? I'm not so sure at the moment. I don't think Chelsea are under pressure to sell players like Conor Gallagher and Reece James. But if you do look at their midfield squad, they do have a lot of midfielders. They won't be signing any midfielders this summer, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of those midfielders, 1 or 2 of them, left the club. And Conor Gallagher has been offered contracts by Chelsea in the past. I think he didn't sign them because he was concerned about how much game time he was going to get. But obviously, he had an exceptional season and the Chelsea fans love him and they would be absolutely delighted if he was to stay.